If the Soulsborne games were 2D side-scrolling shoot-em-ups, I'd probably enjoy them a lot more. Steel Assault is that tough-as-nails, trial-by-error kind of adventure, and its style is entirely inspired by old-school, wallet-draining arcade games, particularly Metal Slug, but also has influence from games like Contra. A few mechanics are clunky and some levels make it hard to see what's part of the scene and what isn't, but it captures the feel with its relentless difficulty, retro sounds, and how long it lasts. Arcade games of the past typically increase in difficulty as you got further into the game, but Zenobia Interactive chose to make navigating and utilizing tools in unique ways as the method to keep things fresh later on. Sometimes that resulted in less difficult levels, but it never led to beating a level on the first try or the second for that matter. The most interesting tool is the grappling hook. At first, its use is pretty mundane, but it doesn't take too long before you have to manage attacking enemies and dodging obstacles, but it's a lot of fun. It was frustrating at times, but it felt good dancing my thumbs around my gamepad. The grapple hook also doesn't have as much creative use against bosses, which makes some of the fights a little less exciting. I love the throwback level designs. You're on the streets, you're on the rooftops, you're in the sky, in jungles, and of course, there's an elevator stage. The art is a little too pixelated for my taste, but for a game made in 2021, they managed to make it feel nostalgic. Some sections on levels were hard to see which layer was the foreground or background, making it difficult to move forward at times. Of course, there are levels with water, and water's a real problem. If you end up in the drink, you can hop out, but your jump shortens every time you try to get out, and it's easy to rack up damage if you don't. It was best to just let myself sink and let the water spit me out, but it was always frustrating in the heat of the moment as I'm fumbling with trying to take out the enemies while getting out of the water. It feels unnecessary to get my hopes up that I can jump out of the water when, really, once I'm in it, most of the time I'm not getting out. Thankfully, if I died, checkpoints brought me back to reasonable spots. I refrain from calling them gracious because they set you back far enough that you have to go through some of the gauntlets of enemies again. It's also particularly annoying that you have to wait through a cutscene every single time you die to a boss. That's a part of the arcade feel Zenobia Interactive could have left out. There are several difficulty modes. Normal will probably be enough for most people, but there's added challenge in hard mode, and the absolutely brutal arcade mode, which has no checkpoints. Even easy mode isn't entirely easy. There are only 5 levels, and my first playthrough tapped out at an hour and a half, so while it is punishing, it doesn't pound you for hours and hours. That works to Steel Assault's advantage since there aren't a variety of enemies, but they're used in such a way to maximize the challenge. The Gundam-style designs bring out their menacing feel, and they all require different playstyles in order to take them down. Steel Assault brings back the arcade feel with tremendous accuracy and care. Its brevity nicely contrasts with how difficult it can be, and the bosses are fun and distinct. The grappling hook is a great addition with unique uses, though it's a little unreliable at times. If Steel Assault were to cost 50 cents per play, I probably lost $20, and I don't regret it. Steel Assault gets an 85 out of 100. Subscribe so you don't miss the large amount of gameplay videos we upload for the latest games, as well as more reviews and previews. For anything you don't see on this channel, check out gamingtrend.com.